Welcome back, Troglodytes, to another edition of Trogly's Guitars. Today we have kind of an unusual guitar that you might not have heard of. This is a Gibson Studio Standard model. Now, the Studio was introduced kind of in the mid-80s. I think 83 is the official year. And they kind of had three tiers to it. They had the Base Studio, the Standard Studio, and the Custom Studio. This one is a Standard Studio. And really, the only difference between this and like a Les Paul Standard of the day is the body is just a little bit thinner, which some people actually seek these out because of that slightly thinner body. And as you can see, it has the dot inlays instead of trapezoids, which honestly kind of has a cool look to it. A lot of people assume a dot guitar, unless it's like a Fender or something, to kind of be cheaper. However, when the dots are real mother of pearl, they honestly look pretty good. And then the other difference, kind of similar to a Heritage 80 Elite, is they have ebony fretboards. So, despite the Studio name, these things still sell for, quite a bit. The Studio Custom models actually have the 5-ply binding. I don't think they have it on the back, though. So, that's kind of a little history lesson for you if you don't know about this guitar. Let's take a look at its condition. The headstock's in good shape. It's got some light wear and tear here. I'll show you. You can see the lacquer has kind of bubbled a little bit here. That's very common on these late 80 ones. Honestly, this one's fairly mild. You've got some light dust. You don't gotta worry about that. I can't remember if that came originally on this guitar. That might be a replacement. Some of them didn't say anything. Some did stay Studio. So we've got that going. Got your original nut here. And ebony fretboard, as we were just discussing, with dot inlays. I oiled this fretboard like 3 times. It was fairly thirsty, but it's definitely where it needs to be now, and it's looking great. Nice dark ebony. The frets do show some wear, as you're seeing here. You got some minor divoting, but I was playing this guitar, it really didn't affect how it played. The action's set kind of medium. It can be lowered if you would wish. So it's just a matter of a personal setup. The body's in pretty good shape. You got your typical scratches and a checking line there. Original pickguard, which fits very well. Somebody replaced the knobs on this, so those are replacements, but that's what it would have originally came with. But you can see the polishing scratches and a few checking lines there. Nothing too bad. A few little dings there. But, overall the guitar is fairly clean. If you gave it a professional polish job, most of what you're seeing here would disappear. Original bridge and tailpiece, and original Tim Shaw humbuckers. These puppies here are worth about $400 just on their own, so that's where a lot of the value of this guitar comes from. Because this is exactly what like the prehistoric reissues and high-end reissues came with back in the day. So these are a really great value for the money because they really don't feel different than a standard like Les Paul, because the finish is exactly the same. It's not, a dull satin like they kind of do today for the cheaper Gibson models. It's high gloss. It looks great. These things play great. They're just a really good value for the money. I wanted to point out that the pickup ring is kind of dirty / darkened in this area. I tried cleaning that off, but I was not successful. Now on to the back of the guitar. It does have some light wear and tear here. Some light buckle rash, but nothing that really destroys the overall appearance of the guitar. Alright, you can see your serial number. This makes it a very late 86. You've got some wear and tear on the headstock, but thankfully no breaks, cracks, or repairs to speak of. We've got the typical 60s profile, slim neck profile on this one. You do have some scratches on here. You can't feel them, but if you run your nail along them, you can. It's like a really fine scratch, almost kind of like a knife cut it or something. But, you know, playing along, you don't feel it. Just running along with your nail, you might, though. So you got a few of those. Maybe a cat claw or something. I don't know. There is no pet odor to this guitar that I can sense, though. Full disclosure, just so you don't get, you know, antsy if you get this guitar, you can see where the fretboard was bound to the neck. You kind of got like some bubbling finish very lightly. I mean, it's not chipping or anything, but just in case you have questions, I mean, it's not a repair or anything, as we'll see under the black light. That's just kind of what happens sometimes. Once again, the back of the guitar does have some wear, as you're seeing there. But, I mean, it's a player's guitar. And you don't see too many in wine red. Most of them have the burst finishes. Whereas the bursts are probably the more desirable ones. If you're looking for a rare guitar, you know, finding one in wine red might be up your alley. As you can see, the strap buttons have been changed out for strap locks. I don't remember what kind that one is. It might be Dunlop or something. The input jack plate was replaced. You can see those screws don't go all the way in, and they're kind of sunk in crooked, but I haven't really tried to mess with that too much, though. The electronics are all original in there. You got 86 pot codes, and it doesn't look like anything's been touched too much in there. I mean, they might have been rewired or some different pickups tried out at one point in time, but they put the originals back in. It will come in its original Gibson chainsaw case here. It's missing the Gibson logo at the top there, but you have all three functioning latches, so that's the important part. If anything, that helps deter thieves. The interior is a nice blue color. And judging by the imprint, this is definitely the original case that's been with it since '86. The case is in good shape. I mean, these things are pretty strong. It's got lots of, you know, scratches and whatnot, but it does its job. You can see the felt has kind of fallen in there. I've had some success with taping these up before, but it is what it is. This is the other reason why some guys really like these studio customs and studio standards over traditional standards and customs, is you can get nice old wood with ebony boards at a much lighter weight than the normal of the era. Most standards and customs weigh like the high 9s all the way up to 11 and 12. Some are crazy 13-pounders, but we're going by averages here. This guy's right under 9 pounds, which is usually what people want. So, I mean, it's a great weight and a great player with all the same electronics as usual. And we'll take a look here of what it looks like in its case. The blue interior really complements the red finish. I love these chainsaw cases. If you've never had one, while Gen 3 is my least preferred for like my own personal reasons like gigging, for shipping, Gen 3s are definitely my favorite because they're the bulkier of the three, but nothing gets past these cases. They are indestructible. Well, unless a forklift goes through them, but... So, if you think you would like to own this guitar, feel free to contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys. You can also check out the reverb.com listing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.